Some football players get a lot of hate for no reason. Some say Neymar is a diving merchant. Some say Messi is an Argentine fraud who won the World Cup with the help of FIFA. Well, the truth is, all of these are just plain false and agenda-driven. So, let's talk about what people say about these 10 players, starting with Neymar Jr. People disrespect Neymar too much. This guy's been the third best player in the world since Messi and Ronaldo's rivalry began. Besides being an insanely talented dribbler, he has hundreds of goals and assists to back up the very impressive eye test, both for club and country. Yet he is often dismissed as a diving merchant, and often accused of falling too easily to win penalties. It's true that Neymar sometimes exaggerates fouls, but his incredible skill makes him one of the most fouled players in the game. Defenders often use rough tactics to stop him. During the 2018 World Cup, for instance, he was fouled 26 times, more than anyone else. While some call him out for diving, they ignore that Neymar's style, flashy dribbles and daring moves, invites hard tackles. The disrespect is unfair because it overlooks his achievements. Neymar has scored over 400 goals and has an eye for assists that few players can match. People focus too much on dramatic moments and forget he's a game changer, a top talent who makes football exciting to watch, just like his former Barcelona teammate, Lionel Messi. 2. Lionel Messi. But Lionel Messi faces almost the same level of disrespect as Cristiano Ronaldo. Not too surprising though. Both are goats of the game with massive fans who will stop at nothing to demean the other person. That's why Messi, who is arguably the greatest player in football history, is often labelled as a short Argentine fraud by some. Many even accuse him of getting favoritism from FIFA. Why? Because he took 5 penalties during the World Cup, which, if we're honest and remove all bias, the penalties were deserved and earned. Ironically, a lot of this criticism comes from Ronaldo fans, who conveniently forget that Ronaldo himself is famous for his penalty-taking skills. When Ronaldo was called a penalty merchant, his fans embraced it, silencing critics. But when Messi had the same number of penalties, the outcry was loud and fierce. The reality is that both players are skilled enough to deliver under pressure, penalties or not. Messi's World Cup win was about much more than just penalties. It was about leadership, incredible assists, and moments of pure magic that carried his team to glory. Yet, some still refuse to give him the credit he deserves, just like others don't give credit to Ronaldo. 3. Cristiano Ronaldo. With the way people disrespect Cristiano Ronaldo, you would think this guy isn't the top scorer with 900 goals and counting. And you'd think he hasn't won almost every individual and team award the game has to offer. But many fans call him a tap-in merchant, as if scoring easy goals doesn't take incredible positioning, timing and skill. Ronaldo has proven himself in the world's toughest leagues, England, Spain and Italy, winning titles and breaking records everywhere. Now in the Saudi League, people criticize him for moving to an easier league, ignoring that he is almost 40 and has nothing left to prove. He's won 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues and even led Portugal to a Euro Cup. Moving to Saudi Arabia is more about challenging himself differently and growing the sport in new markets. Even there, he's scoring goals, winning titles, and staying at the top of his game. The disrespect Ronaldo faces shows how little some fans appreciate greatness, even when it's right in front of them. The same thing can be said for Erling Haaland. 4. Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland, the best striker of this current generation. If only people could admit this more to themselves, that this guy may have scored a lot of tapping goals but is actually more than a box striker, perhaps they may see what we're witnessing is greatness. Haaland has scored 70 goals in 69 EPL games, the highest goals per game ratio of any striker ever in the Premier League. That's not luck, that's pure skill and instinct. Still, Haaland is often called a tap-in merchant, as if his goals are easy. The truth is, it takes a special player to be in the right place at the right time so consistently. In his debut season at Manchester City, he broke the Premier League single-season goal record with 36 goals and helped the team win a historic treble. Yet, he was overlooked for major awards like the Ballon d'Or. People forget he's more than just his goals. His positioning, movements and sheer physicality make him a nightmare for defenders. Haaland's impact goes beyond just scoring. He's a true game changer. Sadly, not many people will see that. On to the 5th player on the list, Trent Alexander-Arnold. 5. Trent Alexander-Arnold. People say Trent can't defend, that he's just terrible at defending. Well, to set the record straight, Trent isn't a bad defender. In fact, defensively, he's more than decent and more reliable than many other fullbacks in his position. Of course, his offensive ability is ahead of his defensive abilities. But why is he singled out for criticism? Fullbacks like Marcelo were praised for their attacking brilliance, not criticised for defensive gaps. Besides, Trent is still young and has a lot of time to improve the defensive aspect of his game. Trent Alexander-Arnold refined the modern fullback role with his vision, passing and crossing, with over 70 assists for Liverpool. He's one of the best playmakers in the Premier League, yet his defensive mistakes are heavily criticised, even though similar players don't face the same scrutiny. Liverpool's system often leaves him exposed, pushing him forward as a playmaker. Naturally, this creates gaps defensively, but when the team is set up well, he holds his own defensively. His versatility allows him to play in midfield, proving he's not just a bad defender. His role is unique. Trent is a player who changes the game with his creativity from deep, and that's something people need to appreciate more. The next player is Romelu Lukaku. 6. Romelu Lukaku. Many people think Lukaku is overrated. The same Lukaku who has won multiple league titles in England and Serie A. The same Lukaku who is Belgium's all-time top scorer. I mean, you don't have to think he's the best striker in history before giving him his flowers. People criticize him for his touch, calling him clumsy or unskilled. But they forget that he's consistently been among the top scorers in every league he's played in. At Manchester United, he was criticised for his first touch and work rate. Then he moved to Inter Milan, helping them win their first Serie A title in over a decade, and was named MVP of the league. And still, critics said he couldn't perform on big stages. When he returned to Chelsea, he was again blamed for poor team performances, even when he was scoring important goals for them. Despite all the criticism, Lukaku has shown that he can adapt and score wherever he goes. He might not be the most stylish striker, but his record speaks for itself. People need to take a chill pill on him. Now, let's talk about a goalie. 7. Ederson. Some people also say Ederson is overrated. They say because Man City possesses games more, he doesn't face a lot of shots to truly test if he's a good goalkeeper. But the truth is, Ederson's skills go beyond shot stopping. His ability with the ball at his feet is unmatched among goalkeepers. He's basically like an extra outfield player, and his distribution has been key to how City play. People forget that Ederson has had many decisive saves, even in big games. He's won the Golden Glove multiple times, which is not just about how many saves you make, but how well you keep your goalposts safe, regardless of the amount of shots you face. Some people claim he benefits from City's strong defense and possession game, but isn't that what makes him perfect for City? A keeper who not only saves, but starts attacks. Look at his record: 6 Premier League titles, a Champions League win, and more. Ederson has proved his worth repeatedly. It's not about facing 20 shots a game. It's about making the right save at the right moment and fitting perfectly into a winning system. On to the next player. 8. Ligt. After moving from Ajax to Juventus, the expectation many people had of Ligt was sky high. Many people thought he was the next coming of Maldini. And this is why, even though Ligt is good enough to start in any team, people think he's overrated simply because the expectation they've had for him is just ridiculous and over the top. Ligt's move to Bayern Munich was a fresh start, but it didn't help to change that image of him as an overrated centre-back, especially after Bayern spent £70 million on him. He didn't have enough game time, and it seemed Tuchel only wanted to field his favourites like Upamecano, even after he kept making mistake after mistake. Eventually, Ligt moved to Manchester United, and even in the few games he's had, he's been nothing but excellent for them. Against Liverpool, he was Man U's best defender. Against the Salah Diaz Jota squad, Ligt is still young, and he's already proving himself at the highest level, but if anything, his journey shows how high expectations can cloud people's view of a great player. Let's go to a player from Madrid. 9. Bellingham. A lot of people say Bellingham is overrated. This is a midfielder who scored over 20 goals last season in La Liga, while being the La Liga Player of the Year, and also the standout performer for England in the last Euros. They say he doesn't offer much as a midfielder, but only scores tap-in goals. What these people don't realise is that Bellingham is way more than just a tap-in merchant. His ability to control the midfield, break lines with passes, and drive forward is what sets him apart. At just 21, he's playing at an elite level for Real Madrid, where he doesn't just score, he dictates play, recovers possession, and sets the tempo. His defensive work rate is also top tier, showing that he can balance both ends of the pitch. And all these other aspects of his game will only get better. People love to reduce Bellingham to just his goals, but his all-round game is what makes him special. In just a few years, he's already among the best midfielders, and calling him overrated is simply incorrect. 10. Bruno Fernandez. Now, let's end this list with Bruno Fernandez. A lot of people say Bruno complains too much, that he whines too much. People forget that this is the captain of Manchester United, and with the level of officiating in the Premier League now, it's hard not to complain about bad decisions. Man United have been underwhelming in the last couple of seasons, and even the players know it. So when a decision goes against them, one which they don't deserve, it's understandable why Bruno must complain. He needs to ensure his team gets as many points as possible. Besides, people forget that beyond his complaints, Bruno is one of the most consistent performers for United. He regularly creates chances, scores goals, and leads with intensity. His passing range and vision are exceptional, making him a crucial player in the midfield. That's all for today, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts in the comment section below. See you in the next video.